Ethan Carter stared at his reflection in the employee restroom mirror, barely recognizing himself. Gone was the sharp suit he typically wore as CEO of Starview Cinemas. Instead, he stood in a faded janitor's uniform, a worn baseball cap pulled low over his eyes, clutching a mop like it was his first job. After 20 years of building his cinema empire, he was about to step into a world he had long forgotten. The decision to go undercover came after receiving a series of anonymous emails detailing troubling reports about poor working conditions, unfair treatment, and plummeting employee morale across his theater chain. Rather than trust another corporate audit, Ethan resolved to see the issues for himself. The Starview Cinema, his flagship location, seemed the perfect place to start. He had chosen the night shift, believing it would be easier to observe without drawing attention. As he pushed his cleaning cart into the lobby, the familiar smell of popcorn and the distant sound of movie trailers brought back memories of his early days in the business. He caught sight of two teenage girls in theater uniforms, partially hidden behind a large promotional poster, their hushed voices carrying over the noise of departing customers. "I can't believe we're doing this, Mia," said the taller girl, her name tag reading Maya. She wrung her hands nervously. "We don't have a choice, Ella," Maya replied, her voice cracking. "If we don't get the money, they're going to hurt Tommy. I can't let that happen." Ethan's heart sank as he listened. He had expected to uncover typical workplace complaints, unfair schedules, pay issues, maybe some harassment, but this was different. "How much do you owe him?" Ella asked, her voice barely above a whisper. $8,000, Maya replied, causing Ella to gasp. "The hospital bills keep piling up, and no bank will give us a loan. Mom's working 3 jobs already." This guy, Marcus, seemed like the only option at the time, but robbing the theater? Ethan gripped the mop handle tightly, torn between the urge to intervene and the understanding of their desperation. This wasn't about greed, it was about survival. "I can't ask you to help me," Maya continued, her voice trembling. "Remember last year when we were about to be evicted?" Ella interrupted. "You gave us your entire savings, $3,000, no questions asked. Now it's my turn to help you." The girls' conversation shifted to logistics, discussing security cameras and staff rotations. Ethan's mind raced. As the owner, he knew he should alert security, but he hesitated. These weren't hardened criminals, they were scared kids trying to protect their family. Over the next 24 hours, Ethan decided to dig deeper. He would learn everything he could about Maya and Ella and the circumstances that had driven them to this point. The next morning, Ethan arrived early for his shift, positioning himself near the break room. He methodically cleaned while keeping an eye on Maya, who sat alone, her untouched coffee growing cold beside her as she typed furiously on her phone. Dark circles under her eyes suggested she hadn't slept, and her hands trembled as she checked what appeared to be a banking app. 20 minutes left, she muttered, glancing nervously at her watch. She pulled out a small pill bottle, and Ethan recognized the painkillers. When Ella appeared in the doorway, she informed Maya that their manager, Rick, was looking for her. Rick was notorious for his short temper, and Ethan noticed how both girls tensed at the mention of his name. "Did he say what's wrong?" Maya asked, swallowing the pills. "Something about yesterday's sales numbers." "He's threatening to cut our hours again," Ella replied. Ethan watched Maya's face crumple momentarily before she composed herself. He had seen that look before, the look of someone drowning in responsibilities they couldn't escape. Throughout the day, Ethan continued to observe Maya's routine. She worked through her lunch break, helping an elderly woman with the ticket kiosk, even as Rick yelled about line efficiency from his office. He saw her on the phone, her voice barely a whisper, promising to be there for Tommy's therapy session. "Don't worry about the money. Big sister's handling it," she said, wiping away tears as customers approached. Ella caught up with Maya during the afternoon rush, whispering about the security rotation. "Mike takes his smoke break at exactly 10:45. That gives us 12 minutes before Rick checks on us, she said. Rick's voice cut through their conversation. Stop socializing and upsell those combos. Do you think popcorn sells itself? Ethan noticed how Rick seemed to target Maya specifically, hovering nearby and criticizing every small mistake. When she accidentally dropped a cup, Rick made her stay late to clean the entire concession area, even though it wasn't her responsibility. Later, while cleaning near Rick's office, Ethan overheard the manager on the phone. We're cutting corners where we can. These kids don't need breaks every shift, and if they complain, there's always someone else willing to take their job. Ethan felt his blood boil. Rick's negligence had created a toxic environment. He made a note to document everything he had witnessed. This wasn't just about Maya and Ella, it was about the systemic failures that had allowed Rick to create such a harmful workplace. As evening approached, Ethan watched Rick hold a staff meeting. Yesterday's numbers were pathetic, he announced. We're 20% below target. That means some of you might not have jobs by the end of the month. Maya's face went pale. This wasn't motivation, it was terror tactics. Thompson, Rick barked, your concession sales were particularly disappointing. Care to explain? Maya stepped forward. I was helping an elderly customer who had fallen. Excuses, Rick snapped. This is a business, not a charity. Ethan felt a surge of anger. This was not how he wanted his theater to operate. He had built Starview Cinemas on the principles of respect and customer service, and Rick was destroying everything. After the meeting, Ethan retreated to the employee bathroom to gather his thoughts. He couldn't let Maya and Ella go through with their plan. They needed help, not punishment. That night, as the theater emptied out, Maya and Ella exchanged glances, preparing to execute their plan. Ethan positioned himself strategically, keeping both girls in his sight while pretending to inventory cleaning supplies. At 10:40 p.m., Maya slipped into the back hallway, and Ethan followed silently. He needed to intervene before it was too late. When Maya opened the safe with surprising ease, she gasped at the sight of the cash inside. Just then, her phone lit up with another threatening message from Marcus, and she froze, panic washing over her. Maya, run! Ella's voice crackled over the walkie-talkie. Rick just pulled into the parking lot. Ethan's heart raced. He couldn't let this play out any longer. He stepped out of the shadows just as Rick approached the office. Stop right there, Rick. Ethan's voice cut through the tension. Rick turned, his arrogance evaporating. What are you doing here? I'm Ethan Carter, owner of Starview Cinemas, and I need to talk to you about your management practices. Maya and Ella stared in shock, realizing who he was. Get out! Rick shouted, but Ethan held his ground. First, Maya, pick up that money, he instructed, his voice steady. No one leaves until we sort this out. With security officers by his side, Ethan confronted Rick about his violations, including wage theft and harassment. You're fired, effective immediately, he declared. As Rick was escorted out, Ethan turned to the girls, his expression softening. Let's talk about Marcus Wells. I know everything. Maya's knees buckled, and Ella supported her. How do you know all this? Maya asked, her voice trembling. I've been watching and listening since I overheard your conversation 2 days ago. I'm not here to punish you, I want to help. After hearing their story, Ethan decided to help them avoid legal trouble. He arranged for protection against Marcus and offered to pay off the debt, allowing Maya to repay him with manageable installments. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Maya signed the agreement, realizing she had a chance to rebuild her life without the weight of fear and desperation. As the weeks passed, the atmosphere at Starview Cinema transformed. Maya became an assistant manager, and Ella took on a security role, thriving under new leadership. Employees felt valued and respected, and the toxic culture created by Rick was replaced with a supportive environment. Ethan's commitment to change not only saved the theater but also fostered a sense of community among the staff. The Grand Plaza Cinema became a beacon of hope, demonstrating the power of empathy in business. 1 month later, as Ethan surveyed the bustling lobby filled with happy employees and satisfied customers, he felt a sense of pride. The theater had not only survived but thrived, proving that investing in people was the greatest success of all.